4 on the clock. Pecan, 2 seconds. Pecan for the lead. Got it! He got the record at the buzzer! The Briggs for 3. Buried! Gallagher pulls up. Gallagher rims it out. The Shields slams it down. Cooley up ahead. Dombrowski, the freshman, off the window and one. Go back to Evans, corner 3, got it! There's Lowe with the exclamation point as Dunny slams it down. Far side, Dawson unloads, knocks it home. Jenna Dawson. By Teslavich, Epps puts it on the floor. Bryce looks to drive in, Epps floats it up, got it! He got it! There's 1,000 for Bryce Epps. From the brand new Gladiator Stadium on the Southmoreland Liberty campus, it's section and conference football action in the 3A Interstate Conference between the South Allegheny Gladiators and the Southmoreland Scotties here this evening, as big sequence for South Allegheny. Started the season 1-0 with a victory against Yock, and they have been 0-5 since that spot, and a huge spot for them if they want to make the playoffs. It starts tonight finding a way to beat the Southmoreland Scotties here at home. Last year it was a Southmoreland victory. These two teams have not met all that often in the course of things, but you know, it's two teams that both know a win is very important if they want to find themselves in the postseason, especially with how top heavy this is in the WPIAL Interstate Conference, with Bell Vernon and Elizabeth Ford as the top dogs 1 and 2. And really, the question is 2 conference wins going to get you that 4 spot? And that might be the case. And this is going to be a big way for South Allegheny here tonight if they can get one.
You're sure right. It's a big game for both of these teams, like you've alluded to, because with EF up top there in Bell Vernon, you know, you'd think that they're going to win the majority of their conference games and presumably might only lose one of them when they play each other. So, you know, that's to be seen in the future. But right now, South Allegheny, Southmoreland, still early, you know, a few more games left to go in conference play, but, you know, you're getting into the bulk of it, and this is a big one here. Both 0-1 coming in. Getting that first win, moving to 500 in conference would be so important today. So this is going to be a big one. You see the homecoming parade and all the festivities here for South Allegheny. It's going to be a good crowd. They're going to have everyone behind them. So it's a big occasion here tonight. We'll see if the Gladiators can step up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's all going to start with getting some bodies back on the field. And Eric Ware is where you look at first. He was not in the lineup against the Bell Vernon Leopards. He will be back here tonight, and that's going to open up a whole lot more for your skill players in, of course, DeSean Carter, Cam Epps, Michael Mahalski, to name a few, as now they have help from their quarterback position. I think that's going to be absolutely pivotal to see what South Allegheny can do. Now they have their full accompaniment of players at their disposal here this evening.
Eric Ware is obviously a huge piece to this puzzle. You know, any team, when quarterback goes down, there's going to be trouble, and obviously the Gladiators had it last week against a very, very good football team in Bell Vernon. So, you know, that one, you leave the tape behind, you let that one go. That's in the past, and what you have this week is a great opportunity to rebound, a good chance to, again, get your quarterback back, get him acclimated again, and like you said, open things up for your skill players that you lean on. So big opportunity here for the Gladiators to bounce back, and Ware's going to be at the top of that.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, you got to get the ball into your skill position players' hands. You got to do that early and often here, as the basketball duo of Keffer and Kiefer have taken their talents onto the gridiron from the hardwood. Ty Kiefer at wide receiver has been absolutely unreal. Or excuse me, Ty Keffer, the wide receiver, Caden Kiefer, the quarterback. But nonetheless, Kiefer, 6'4", been pivotal to the success and how Southmoreland's basketball team would compete. So you move him on the outside, and he's made quick work in that position so far this season for Southmoreland, as South Allegheny is going to have kind of the tall task of slowing down this passing offense that, last year saw a new quarterback. It was Anthony Govern, who moved from an H-back position. Now you see Caden Kiefer move into the quarterback position this year. So another new year, another new quarterback. But Southmoreland looking to make the playoffs for what would be just the 4th time ever in program history. And if I am not mistaken, which I'm pretty sure I'm not, I think I'd have to check. I think I have it written down, but it would be the first time ever in school history they made the postseason back-to-back.
Yeah, so the Scotties looking to make history. Obviously, again, this game goes a long way towards that because both of these teams looking for those precious conference wins, and this is a big opportunity for them to get them. So it's going to be an interesting one here tonight, I think, against two probably pretty even matched teams. We'll see how it ends up.
Now, a windy Friday night here in October, as you see South Allegheny rocking the pink here, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as that will be taken on by a number of student athletes throughout the area and the WPIAL here on homecoming night for South Allegheny. DeSean Carter already got that accolade of being named the king of the class of 2022, along with Angelina Cortazzo, multi-sport athlete as well here at South Allegheny. But see if he can make this a big night in general for the big 6'4" senior.
Yeah, we'll see if Carter can step up here tonight and see what he can do, because we all know how great of a player he is, how great of a playmaker he is for this Gladiator squad on both sides of the ball. So big opportunity for him here tonight. Obviously, like you said, got the crown, but he's looking for the win here tonight as well. A big conference victory would go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. You come looking at this. Bell Vernon beat South Allegheny at the beach last week, while Southmoreland, they fell 42-6 to the other top dog in the Interstate Conference, the team that some people believe may dethrone Bell Vernon this year. That's Elizabeth Forward. As the EF has continued their tearing pace, and they did that without the services of their starting quarterback, Zion White. It was Johnny DiNapoli who had the start in that game, and Johnny DiNapoli, of course, the freshman passing record holder for single-season yards as a freshman quarterback back when he manned the helm at East Allegheny.
Yeah, that's an impressive win, especially when you look at it without White. Such a great player for EF and an important player, obviously, in what they do. We talked about South Allegheny being down where last week. Anytime you're down your quarterback, it's tough to go out and get a victory, but they were able to do just that. They show how good of a football team they are week in and week out, EF. So between them and Bell Vernon, I think at the top of this conference, it's going to be really interesting to see who ends up with that crown.
Oh, absolutely. As I mentioned, Southmoreland, though, looking to make the postseason for back-to-back years, first time in program history. 3 playoff appearances for the Southmoreland Scotties. They have never won a postseason game. They made it and lost to Penn Hills in 1979, lost to Avonworth 49-0 back in 2019, and then lost last year in the first round 36-11 to the aforementioned East Allegheny squad. As a while ago, as you saw, the South Allegheny Gladiators took the field, still waiting on the Scotties here. 2 minutes away from opening kickoff here from Gladiator Stadium. This absolutely gorgeous facility, $7.4 million venue replacing the old historic Glassport Memorial Stadium. And last year was the final year at Glassport Memorial for these South Allegheny Gladiators. Had the privilege of sitting through a lightning delay there last year when the Warriors of Elizabeth Forward came to town to take on the Gladiators. And actually, the first ever game there was South Allegheny and Elizabeth Forward. But this beautiful facility, 2,455 seats, including 1,900 plus here on the home side, over 500 spectators on the far side, and it's absolutely picture perfect as digital scoreboard and all, as no expense was spared. And first time I got a chance to actually view this stadium up close and personal was Wednesday when I sat down to interview DeSean Carter for our halftime interview this week, and absolutely amazed with just how eye-popping this stadium is. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. They did a really good job here. I think that there's starting to be kind of a shift in some facilities when it comes to how you perceive South Allegheny, a medium-sized school in the grand scheme of things at 3A. So, just a really good job they did here. I was able to write a story on the stadium when it was announced for the Mon Valley Independent, so got to hear a lot about the different features and everything involved in the facilities, including that video board, like you said. They went out of their way to get state-of-the-art technology there. They've got students under us here in the booth running different ads and different shows, different things that they have produced. So, overall, it's a really good investment, I think, for the kids in this area and also the entire district as a whole. So I think they did a really good job here, and it'll play host to a good one here tonight.
Looks like SA will get the ball to start here, and that means the electric return man, sophomore Cameron Epps, who's known for his heroics already as a freshman last year, not necessarily on the football field, but on the hardwood, as big brother Bryce and Cam Epps teamed up for big buckets against Steel Valley in the postseason, which helped push them past their Summer League teammate Mackay Valentine to the WPIAL semis, where they were unable to hold on to a lead late in that one up at the UPMC Sports Center, and eventually would fall to the Avonworth Antelopes, as SA was really about 2 minutes away, and it looked pretty good chance that they were going to be back at the Peterson Event Center, but they were about 2 minutes away from making their second straight WPIAL championship appearance, when many people thought they didn't have a chance. And it would have been against someone they would have felt comfortable with. It would have been their section foe in Shady Side Academy, but that did not happen. But they'll have a lot back this year, even though they lost some big key pieces from that basketball team. And, of course, this football team, 14 seniors gone from last year's squad, but it's still a very talented and lethal South Allegheny team. We talked about it with Cam Epps on the return end, DeSean Carter in the backfield. This is a team that can really move the football. They didn't show it last week, but they want to crack that 41-yard performance off the schedule here this week in the early going, as it will be Southmoreland ball to start. Back deep to receive for the Southmoreland Scotties is Cam Phillips, the sophomore. Cam Phillips transferred in to Southmoreland at the end of his 8th grade year, as Cleary gets set to kick away, the captain of the soccer team. And through middle school, Cam Phillips, the deep man, was a attendant of Fraser High School, another Mon Valley school there, as Cleary sends it away from Phillips, near side hop over the 20, and we are underway here from Gladiator Stadium, is up over the 30 to the 35. Powering forward was Jeffrey Johnson, and it's first down and 10 for Southmoreland.
Southmoreland takes over, first and 10 at the 35.
Good field position to start here for the Scotties. On 35-yard line. .11:53 here. Quarter number 1. Kiefer in the gun. 2 receivers set. Hard count. Got DeSean Carter moving early on. And looks like it's going to be a free 5 for the Scotties.
5-yard penalty.
Not the way you want to start it if you're the Gladiators, but I'm sure they'll get used to that count as the game goes on.
DeSean Carter a little eager there off the edge on the near side, trying to time that correctly. 3 receivers set, handoff up the middle, as trying to power towards the lead stick is the senior tailback Trey Wessel. as Wetzel goes for 5 and goes for what will be about a half yard short of a Scotty first down.
Second down and 1.
Yeah, nice run there to start things out, and obviously you got the free 5 yards, so inches away from moving the chains here early in this drive.
Keffer far side, 2 receivers near side, Wetzel in the backfield, Wetzel up the middle, and Wetzel first down and more. As he nears the midfield stripe, he was tripped up by Eric Weir.
And now for the Southmoreland first down. Brought down on the play by 25, Camden Lewis.
Lewis in on the stop as well.
49-yard line.
First and 10 from the Southmoreland 49. Clock continues to roll, a minute gone here in quarter number 1. Two receivers far, Keffer to the near side, 1 man back, that's Wetzel again. As hard count got the Gladiators moving once again, and another encroachment call against South Allegheny. 2 pre-snap penalties here on the South Allegheny Gladiators front 4 in the first 4 plays, Liam. Not what you're looking for if you're SA.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, I think they just got to get used to that hard count, but right now, early on, it's having a good effect for the Scotties, helping them move the ball down the field by any means necessary, and handing off to Wetzel. He's having some success right now too.
See if they keep it on the ground. First and 5. Hand off, that's Wetzel again, and Wetzel going nowhere. DeSean Carter meets him at the line of scrimmage, but pushed the POW 5 yards after the initial contact there.
Yeah, good job there from Wetzel to keep his feet moving, and looked like he wasn't going to get much, but ended up moving the chains.
Windy Friday night, and Southmoreland keeping it on the ground and finding all sorts of success here on the early going. 10 yards issued their way free from South Allegheny's front line. They jumped again. 3rd encroachment call on South Allegheny, and head coach Darwin Mangus is going to use a timeout, as that time jumping across for the Gladiators was Hernandez. That hard count has been lethal tonight.
Yeah, it's just undisciplined right now from the Gladiators. Got to figure things out early on, and you hate to burn a timeout right now because that's exactly what you just did. You've got to settle everyone down and just make sure that you eliminate these bad penalties, and you end up having to take an early timeout. So not what you want if you're Mangas early on, but you've got to try and bunker down and get a stop here, because right now the Scotties are moving the ball at will.
See if they can regroup here, South Allegheny, as it's first down and 5 for the Scotties out of the timeout. On receiver near side, 2 far side is lined up on the near side. Is Wyatt Richter. Handoff. Wetzel sees a hole over the 30 down to the 25, inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. That's another big breakthrough for Wetzel.
Picks up another Southmoreland first
10 yards on the Wetzel carry. First and 10 from the 24. As it's been a heavy dose of the senior Wetzel here tonight. Wetzel sidecars Kiefer. Keffer near side, far side, Wyatt Richter. Benjamin out there as well, but Wetzel through the middle once again, and Wetzel down to the 10-yard line as he rolls inside the 10. As Wetzel, that time goes
for another Southmoreland first down at 10.
for
First down and goal.
10 more. Is Wetzel with ease here. South Allegheny, they're on their toes, and it's been effortless on the ground for the Scotties here this evening.
Yeah, it sure has. They're winning up front, and that's allowing Wetzel to get downhill fast, and they're having a tough time bringing him down.
Wetzel once more. Wetzel over the 5, down to the 1, and Wetzel stopped half a yard short.
Wetzel, the ball carrier. Gain of 9. down to the 1. Second and goal.
Second down and goal for the Scotties from the 1. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Imagine you're going to get another heavy dose of Trey Wetzel, the senior. He's done it all here this drive. Handoff, Wetzel, no, keeper, touchdown, Scotties. Caden Kiefer on the keeper. Punches it in for 6, and Southmoreland on the board on the initial drive here this evening as they take the early lead over the South Allegheny Gladiators.
Yeah, really impressive drive there on the ground from Southmoreland. South Allegheny had no response really defensively. First, you had to take the time out because of the hard count. You have 3 encroachment penalties on the first drive, which is already sloppy, and they just couldn't figure out a way to stop things on the ground.
Going for 2 here. Wildcat quarterback, right side, powering his way to the goal line and pushing the POW forward are the Scotties as Jeffrey Johnson, the Wildcat QB, for 2. And it's 8-0. Southmoreland here at half number 1.
Yeah, so right away, a perfect start for the Scotties. On the other side, the Gladiators have to come up with a big response here because they got gashed on the ground on that initial drive.
They gave up a 65-yard drive, 50 yards on the ground, 49 to Wetzel in that initial drive that took just about 4 minutes off the clock. Back deep to receive here for South Allegheny will be Cam Epps along with the Gladiators' Hernandez. As it goes to an up man trying to cut it near side for the Gladiators as they'll get it over the 30, over the 40, out, SA off and running as Lewis across midfield. As Lewis makes it 1st and 10, SA from inside Scotty Real Estate.
That was exactly what the Gladiators needed, though. A nice spark there on special teams. Great field position now. We'll see if they can get something going offensively.
Big response for South Allegheny. We're in the gun. Carter to his left, 4 receiver set. Weir looks to throw, now scrambles. He'll take off left side, and down he goes. Back near the 50-yard line as Weir was running for his life, and the South Allegheny defense knocks him, or the Southmoreland defense knocks him down for a 6-yard loss. It's Austin Moe. We're in the gun. Carter to his left. 3 receiver set. This time handoff. Carter on the edge run. Carter back past the initial line of scrimmage, and there he goes. DeSean Carter cuts inside at the 10, down to the 5, and DeSean Carter puts the Gladiators on the doorstep of getting even.
Gain of 43 on the play, down to the 6.
Yeah, really good run there from Carter. Exactly what you'd expect from him. You need your big playmakers to step up, like we said before, and Carter, big run there, able to set his squad up.
DeSean Carter, beautiful cutback right around the initial line of scrimmage after that pickup of 6, and then just drove it down the field. DeSean Carter makes it 1st and goal. He'll get the carry again, cuts inside, up the middle, down to the 5, knocked back at the 4-yard line.
Number 2, DeSean Carter on carry.
First contact made by Caden Matthews.
Gain of 1. Second down and goal from the 5.
Clock continues to tick. 6:24 and counting here in quarter number 1. 43-yard by DeSean Carter setting this up. Epps far side, along with South Allegheny's Garancy. Epps in motion. Handoff. Cam Epps cuts it back up the middle, and Epps maybe got 1. Obviously, the kind of heritage of Epps through this South Allegheny athletic program. Antonio Epps now playing some Division I football. And then Bryce, star of the basketball team. And then Cameron Epps, multi-sport athlete here at South Allegheny. As third down and goal from the 4. Southmoreland has done a good job of trying to fend this off. Handoff, Carter up the middle. Carter down to the 1. And DeSean Carter stopped a yard shy of the goal line.
Number 2, DeSean Carter on the carry. Down inside the
He's about as close
goal line.
as you can get. Looks like inside the 1 there for 4th and goal. So I think it's an easy decision for Darwin Mangus to just keep his guys out there and try and get those few inches and punch this in.
If you don't think DeSean Carter can get 1 yard here, that's not saying you have a lot of faith. Or if you don't think Eric Weir can get the QB sneak here. See what they do. It is a QB sneak, and Weir
Might not have gotten it.
great initial push from Southmoreland, and they hold. 4th and 1. He's the nose of a football shy. And a turnover on down Southmoreland. Sets up 1st and 10 from the half-yard line.
Impressive stop there. A huge one, really, in the grand scheme of things for the Scotties. Able to stuff South Allegheny right at the end zone there. As you see the ball, I mean, there's got to be millimeters from the tip of that football to the end zone. So huge play defensively, but now they're backed up, and we'll see if they can get out. Ran the ball well already.
Can't give free yards if you're South Allegheny. As handoff up the middle, Wetzel. He'll wrestle his way out to the 6-yard line. Some breathing room for the Scotties now. 4:35 remaining here in the half. You know, the other big thing, lining up in that shotgun situation with Caden Kiefer, you had to be careful to avoid the hold in the end zone, which would have been a free 2 points for Southmoreland, or South Allegheny, I should say, down by 8 early on here. Heavy dose of Wetzel thus far. 49 rushing yards on that initial drive. Handoff again. That's Wetzel again up the middle as the line collapses at the 10. And that's going to be close to a Southmoreland first down. DeSean Carter with the stop. At the half, we sat down with DeSean Carter for our Planet Roof halftime interview. So make sure you tune in for that here this evening at the break. As another first down there for Southmoreland.
At the 11.
First and 10. Kiefer in the gun. Wetzel to his right. 3 receiver, or make it 2 near side, 1 far side. Wetzel gets the snap. Make that Kiefer. Looks to throw. Sends one up far side, and that one's hauled in. As down the far sideline, Ty Keffer. Chasing him is Epps. Breaks the tackle at the 10, and he waltzes in for 6 more.
Number 6.
It was a perfect throw there, right on the money. And like you said, Keffer's been a playmaker for this team, doing a really good job there. Just broke away after, again, that was a strike from Kiefer. Give him a lot of credit. Perfect ball. Keffer had a step on his man and able to bring it to the end zone there to open up a bigger lead here. So really huge turn of events right now. First stuffing South Allegheny inside the 1 yard line, and they're able to capitalize.
Kiefer to Keffer for 89 yards, 14-0 Scotty's lead over the South Allegheny Gladiators. They'll go for 2 again. First pass Southmoreland's thrown here tonight results in 6. Johnson again off the keeper on the Wildcat. He'll work his way in for 2 more. 16-0 lead for Southmoreland early on. It's been all Scotties besides really 2 good plays for South Allegheny here in this game. And that was the return out toward to South Allegheny or Southmoreland Real Estate and the 43-yard run by DeSean Carter. But besides that, it has been all Scotties here in this one as they have really left their imprint on this game in the early going.
They sure have. And again, like you said, not a lot doing for South Allegheny, but after that huge Carter run, you really thought that they were going to be able to punch it inside or into the end zone, I should say, and tie this game up or at least put a touchdown on the board. Instead, Southmoreland stuffs them there, and now a huge strike, so important. And they did a good job also. They've had success on the ground, and Wetzel doing a good job of getting them out of the end zone. And like you said, no penalties in the end zone, nothing sloppy like we've seen a little bit early on from South Allegheny.
All Scotties thus far. Kick short to the up man again on the far side. Hash cutting it near side once again. That's Camden Lewis. As he'll break through again. Lewis towards midfield, and he's knocked down short of the midfield stripe by Cam Phillips. As Camden Lewis has been very successful on the return tonight. See if South Allegheny can capitalize this time by.
Gladiators will take over 1st and 10.
3:08 remaining here in quarter number 1. 1st and 10, South Allegheny. Ball lies on the Gladiator 49. DeSean Carter has been the successful piece of this offense thus far. By himself, he has outgained South Allegheny's entire team in their performance last week. Carter up the middle, over midfield, inside the 45, down to the 44.
DeSean Carter on the carry.
Carter goes for 7.
Down to the 44.
You know, I know so many people love the QB sneak at the 1 yard limit. When you have a guy the size of DeSean Carter, you got to imagine it's tough not giving him the ball half a yard out.
I would agree with that, and obviously South Allegheny opting to choose differently, but I mean, I completely agree. You've got an athlete like that with that size and going to go to some big school to play football here soon enough, and, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, the Youngstown State commit DeSean Carter going to play
Number 2, DeSean Carter
defensive end. So when he first got into football, back when he was in 6th grade,
3rd down and 2.
it was all about offense. Wanted to be a wide receiver. Worked a lot with Eric Weir to improve that craft. But defense is what called his heart. And, you know, you can hear a lot more about his journey and what led him to choosing Youngstown State more at the half with our Planet Roof halftime interview with DeSean Carter. Weir in the pistol. Hand off, Carter again, 3 in a row. This one for 1st down, yardage and more. Carter over the 30, down to the 25 before he's knocked out by Keffer at the 24-yard line. As DeSean Carter once again.
Gladiator 1st down. Ran out of bounds by number 7, Ty Keffer.
19 yards there for DeSean Carter.
24.
Again, Carter in the first drive here this evening had more total yards of offense than South Allegheny did as a team against Bell Vernon at the beach last week, I should say. As Weir fakes the handoff, pressure coming, fires it up, end zone, and it's brought in! Cam Epps for 6, and SA on the board. Weir to Epps from 24 yards out, and some much-needed offense for the Gladiators.
Really good job there from Weir. Stood in there, took a big hit, made a play at the end of the day. Really good job.
As SA will go for 2. Down by 10, trying to make it 8. Low snap, handoff, Carter powers up the middle, and Carter stops short. 2-point conversion, no good. And it will stay a 10-point Scotty's lead.
Southmoreland 16, South Allegheny 6.
So Liam, tonight, both QBs' first pass has went for 6. It was Kiefer to Keffer, Weir to Epps. But once again, the 1-yard line proves to be costly for South Allegheny, being stopped short on that attempt. Now the question is, the Gladiator offense, they've moved the ball extremely well here. Can the defense get a stop?
Yeah, that's what you need if you're the Gladiators. And just one may be enough, although now that you're down 10, you didn't get the 2-point conversion. You're going to need a little more help. But like you said, the offense is doing its thing. Just defensively, got to try and force something, whether it be a turnover or simply getting a stop.
Cleary gets set to kick this one away. 16-6 Scotty lead as Cleary low liner. Near side, that's brought in by Cam Phillips. Phillips up over the 30, and Phillips going to be slammed down around the 40-yard line. As knocking Phillips to the turf was South Allegheny's Garrett Kent.
Number 24, Cameron Phillips on the return for Southmoreland. Brought down to the 39, where the Scotties take over, 1st and 10.
First down and 10, Southmoreland ball on the Scotty 39. Caden Kiefer in the gun. Official timeout as one of the Gladiators relacing the spikes. One of the middle linebackers, Logan Steiner. As handoff, Wetzel again. Wetzel picks up 6, make it 7. As Wetzel keeps the body moving. He has been an absolute problem here tonight for South Allegheny's defense. And, you know, you have to think, Liam, you're going to stack the box if you're SA, which makes you more prone to those big plays like we saw in that last drive from Caden Kiefer to Ty Keffer.
Yeah, it sure does. And, I mean, I think that's really the bread and butter is you get Wetzel going downhill, you get him going early, and that opens up play action. That opens up big shots down the field like we saw on that previous drive.
There's Wetzel once more, and Wetzel this time going nowhere. Carter stops him after a gain of 1. That time make it actually Jeffrey Johnson. He's had the Wildcat duty so far today.
Gain of 1, tackle on the play by number 2, DeSean Carter.
DeSean Carter has had himself an evening thus far.
From the 47.
See if South Allegheny can get that stop on what's most likely the final play of the quarter. Twin receivers far side, one near side. SA almost jumped again. Hand off, Johnson up the middle, out to midfield and a little more as he makes his way into Gladiator real estate on what is the final play of the quarter. And it's 16-6 Southmoreland over South Allegheny after 1 right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs. Because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com.
Bring together expert faculty, offer programs in high-demand fields, add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Back here as we get set for quarter number 2 on MVI Live. 16-6 Scotty advantage. 1st and 10 for Southmoreland from the Gladiator 49. There's Johnson, left tackle. Johnson breaks the tackle down to the near the 40-yard line, as Jeffrey Johnson finding just as much success as his counterpart Wetzel here tonight.
Pick up a 7 on the play.
7 yards there for Jeffrey Johnson.
Right now, with Southmoreland being able to run the ball so well, everything's playing into their favor with the lead. It's still a 2-possession game despite the score from South Allegheny because of that stop, so things going well.
Quick hitter man wide open as one man to beating, getting tripped up just shy of the 5 is Orvitz. As Orvitz, a huge pitching catch with his quarterback, Caden Kiefer.
Kiefer's pass complete to 43. Or offense. 1st and goal, Southmoreland.
Kiefer to Orvitz brings them down to the 6-yard line.
Yeah, big play there, and that's exactly what you talked about, passing game being opened up.
As flag before the handoff.
That's going to go offensively.
False start against the Scotties. First penalty we've seen against Southmoreland here in this one. South Allegheny gave up 15 free yards in that opening drive for Southmoreland. 2 pass plays for Caden Kiefer here tonight. Over 100 yards passing, 89 and 34 respectively. Roughly 34 at least on that second one. Quick math, trying to judge where that initially came from after they moved the sticks. Kiefer will try again, back shoulder, fade, picture, perfect. Touchdown, Southmoreland again. It's Ty Keffer times 2. And it's 22-6, Southmoreland strikes again.
It was a really impressive grab there from Keffer, and you talked about it before. He's an impressive player, and yet again, another perfect throw from Kiefer as well. That's the second one there, including that 89-yard touchdown pass where he's put the ball right on the money a few times now tonight for Southmoreland, so having early success here.
Kiefer to Keffer results in 6 more, and it's another 2-point conversion attempt. This time Kiefer in the gun. Handoff, fake to Wetzel, tries the quick hitter in and out of the hands of Orvitz. His intended target he had Epsbead on the out route. Just could not capitalize, but it's still 22-6 in favor of the Scotties. SA, you feel it's monumental they score on this drive here. You got to kind of go toe for toe and hope you end up on the beneficiary where you can kind of go 2 for none at the end of quarter number 2 into half number 2.
Yeah, you're completely right, and right now just not able to get it done defensively, but give all the credit in the world to Caden Kiefer. He's really put a few balls right on the money here tonight that's only allowed his receivers to go up and get it, specifically Ty Keffer now, his second touchdown pass.
Yeah, Ty Keffer has been all sorts of impressive. And by watching the young wide receiver out on the field and Ty Keffer, who is a junior, first year playing football, and it's been impressive as Hernandez takes this one back out to the 30-yard line, and that's where the Gladiators will take over.
Number 32, Benicio Hernandez on the return. Tackled with the 30. Gladiators take over, 1st and 10.
1st and 10 now for South Allegheny, 10:20 remaining in the half. 3 Scotty possessions, 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. 3 touchdowns for Caden Kiefer tonight, 2 passing, 1 rushing. On 30, worst starting field position for South Allegheny tonight. Weir looks to pass. Weir underneath, that's to Camden Lewis, gets to the 30, knocked backwards there after a pickup of maybe half a yard for Camden Lewis.
Short gain on the play. Second down and 9 from the 31.
Nowhere to work for Weir on that sequence. DeSean Carter's moved the football pretty much at will for South Allegheny tonight, but figure you can't get too predictable. We've seen Southmoreland mix it up in there with Wetzel in the passing game. See if that's what Southmoreland or South Allegheny's trying to do. Is there's Carter this time sheds the first wave of defense, but not the second, as Orvitz brings him down after he gets inside the 35 up to the 36-yard line, making it 3rd down and about 4.
Gain of 6. 3rd down and 3 from the 37.
Yes leads the troops to the line. Weir in the gun. Man in motion, handoff. That's Cam Epps around the edge. Epps trying to get to the 40. He stopped about 1.5 yards short, and it's 4th down for South Allegheny as Cam Epps couldn't find the lane.
Number 4, Cameron Epps on the carry.
We're actually going to mark it just 1 yard short of that lead marker.
Gain of 2.
But in your own end,
4th and 1.
South Allegheny not risking anything. Looks like they're going to punt it away. Maybe not. Nope. There, in a punt formation. It's kind of an interesting one where you have Carter lined up right next to Weir and Epps as Lewis got a beauty of a punt away inside the 20. It rolls down towards the 15, and it will lie at the 16-yard line before it's downed by the South Allegheny Gladiators there.
45-yard punt by Camden Lewis down to the 16.
45 yards on the punt for Lewis.
Yeah, it's a nice punt there from Lewis, and you go back to the defensive problems that South Allegheny have had early on, because this would be perfect. Get a stop here and then force a punt out of Southmoreland to try and get back into this. And you're only 2 scores away, or rather 3 possessions, I should say, again, because you're missing the.
Right now, with that last miss, though, technically it is just 2 scores.
Yeah. So.
But they got to get a stop here. Pressure coming. It's Carter off the edge, and he forces the incompletion as DeSean Carter was bearing down on Caden Kiefer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The quick math let me down there, but.
Well, no, I mean, you look at the scoreboard and you see 22-6. You're like, yeah, that seems like 3 possessions. But no, it was a big
16 points. So.
But it was a big incompletion on that last 2-point conversion attempt. And you realize how close this is, Liam, to SA having 2 scores on the board right now. The length of a football, if even.
If even, because it looked
it's probably,
even closer than that.
Take the nose, and that's about it. Kiefer, quick hitter, finds his man out over the 20 and out towards the 24-yard line. It's Ronnie Collins. An interesting thing here, and I'm going to bring it up once Ronnie caught the football here, because we talked about Cam Phillips. He used to go to Fraser. Ronnie Collins and Elliot Primus, 2 players on this Southmoreland squad at wide receiver. Both their parents are teachers at Fraser. Just a very interesting story, I feel like. I mean, and if we want to go any further, both taught me back in the day, so I feel bad for them, of course, as always. But, yes, one was my 4th grade teacher, one had me in high school. As up the middle, there goes Johnson, 1st down, yardage and more. Up over the 35, down to the 38-yard line. Johnson, Wetzel, it does not matter. They have both been dominant on the ground today.
Yeah, initially I was surprised when I saw them not get away from Wetzel but start giving more carries to Johnson, but I quickly see why they're using them both pretty equally now because they're both so capable on the ground. And right now the South Allegheny front just has to do a little bit better of swallowing things up front like that.
Misdirection to Wetzel going nowhere. As you said, they swallowed up the front there. And that's been the big difference. Southmoreland has won the battle in the trenches all evening long.
Second down and 11 from the 37.
See if that negative play there kind of helps out this South Allegheny defense. Very pivotal. They get a stop here. Especially you get a stop, get a score, and really have a chance for basically 2 possessions before Southmoreland gets another one if you can force a stop here. Big if, though, as Carter breaks through. Carter, Kiefer gets away. Flag thrown in the backfield, and Lewis pushes out Kiefer for a loss on the play again. As possibly a block in the back on DeSean Carter, breaking free, or a hold nonetheless, as Wetzel was all over Carter.
And that was a really good job there. Carter blew that whole play up, and you know, those are the types of things that he has to do for this South Allegheny team. They're completely won off the edge one-on-one, able to get some push and force Kiefer into an uncomfortable position, but they're already getting backed up for the hold.
Yeah, it would have been a negative play, but then you're looking at you put your best judgment. It would have been about, it went from 2nd and 11, so it would have been about 3rd and 12 to now 2nd and 22. So the question is, do you think you're going to be in a better 3rd down situation than 2nd and 12, which, hey, that's a pretty good situation to be in, but I think this is also, if you got a big stop here with not much yardage, you're really going to help yourself in the field position game.
Yeah, and that goes back to the punt as well, how good that was. But, again, you just got to get the stop.
The line breaks through again, tosses it up and incomplete as Cameron Epps from behind forces the contact.
Number 25, Wyatt Richter, with a catch along the sidelines.
We're now saying Richter had a catch, which it's still going to be 3rd down and long, but it went through the hands of the intended target, Cody Bateman, on the near side. When Cam Epps applied the pressure, then Richter must have come in and...
Richter grabbed it. I cannot say that he had a foot down. I was so busy watching Epps hit him and lost where the ball went. It was grabbed. I do not think it was caught in bounds with a foot on the ground, but regardless, that's a completion there.
It's still 3rd down and more than 11 as a deep bomb looking for Keffer, and Keffer hauls it in. Great adjustment by the junior wideout. But this one not going to count.
Yeah, Carter got tackled there, and I noticed it on the rush. He won again off the edge, and I'm not sure if that's who it was called on because it looks like Ware there is happy about the call, so I'm not sure who was called on, but that's what I saw off the edge. It looked like Carter could have probably had a sack and just got brought down.
Yeah, no matter what, that's huge for South Allegheny. Would have been in business, would have been the Scotties from Southmoreland way down into Gladiator real estate after another big bomb from Kiefer to Keffer. But now it's 3rd down from the 20. They have to get all the way up to the 43-yard line. Again, talk about field position could be huge here. Quick out. It's a screen pass working it free as knocked down short of the original line of scrimmage was Ty Keffer. 4th down and about 11 now for South Southmoreland.
Now Keffer's last grab obviously negated by a penalty, so the first one there that wasn't a touchdown. 3 grabs, 2 touchdowns on the night, over 100 yards.
We're going to see Ronnie Collins get set to punt this one away.
And again, you go back to that punt from South Allegheny to flip the field position game, always so important. And there, now you force Southmoreland. You get a big stop here, and you're going to get the ball back here with good shot.
You would say probably around midfield with about 5 minutes left. Maybe a little further, depending if you get a good return here if you're the Gladiators. Ronnie Collins back deep to punt. Cameron Epps back deep to receive as Collins sends this one in the air. And that one will bounce and take an SA. Bounces wisely. Hopping on that one for the Gladiators was Garvancy.
Yeah, it looked like he had to, although I thought it shot off of Southmoreland at first, but then it hit him in the leg, so just dropping down to be sure that no white jersey would recover it. So decent punt as well from Southmoreland. Give them credit. You know, it's pretty good field position for SA, but it was always going to be because of where they got stopped. So
yeah, and now we're talking 5:20 on the clock. You run it in, you run it down, put it in for 6 here. Make it a one-possession game at the break, and you get the football to start the half if you're South Allegheny.
So big drive here offensively. Really need to get points on the board.
Weir looks to pass, checks it down. That's the Lewis, and Camden Lewis stopped after no gain or maybe a loss of 1 even.
25, Camden Lewis.
Yeah, it looked like he lost one there, so.
Second down and 10.
Or rather, they're going to give him the line of scrimmage, so nothing doing there. See if Ware can take a bigger shot, or if, you know, I think with the clock running right now, why not feed Carter a few times here?
Yeah, Weir hasn't looked at his number 1 wide receiver yet tonight as he fakes it. There is Michael Mahalski on the low throw, incomplete, which is probably a break for South Allegheny. Would have been a loss of 1 on the play, but he was looking for Michael Mahalski. He said that's their number 1 wide receiver this year, and that's his first target.
Yeah, and I think that's one that Weir wants back. Mahalski looked like he had a little bit of space there to try and make something happen. The throw was, you know, a few feet higher. But now 3rd down, not the drive that you've needed thus far. Got to convert here.
Pressure coming, and Weir escapes. Weir, right side, tries to break it again, and a host of Scotties bring him down. Back at the 35.
We're sacked on the play.
Southmoreland all over Weir. As one of the offensive linemen of the Gladiators, Bryce Guest kind of pleading his case to the official about something there, as another punt coming on by Camden Lewis. 4:33 remaining here in half number 1.
That's exactly what couldn't happen for the Gladiators on that drive, because you got the stop, you got the ball with decent field position, and then unable to make anything of it, unable to take advantage, and now Southmoreland has another chance to drive.
As there's Cam Phillips changing direction, and Phillips brought down by his ankles as making the stop was Cam Epps.
That was a nice special teams play there by Epps.
As I don't think the clock ran for the last 3 plays. 4:33 still remaining.
Yeah, I noticed it at the very least after the incompletion. It was 4:33, I believe, and it's still 4:33. So.
And there was a sack.
Yeah.
Then the punt.
Maybe they thought that, although the ball moved back, because I was going to say maybe in the booth they might have thought that it was an incomplete pass. He got it away and he wasn't sacked, but obviously
On the punt, it should have won at least.
Yeah, exactly.
As there's Wetzel, breaks through on the fingertip tackle of Carter, breaks another one, as he'll pick up 11 and another Scotty first down. As we still sit at 4:33.
Southmoreland first down at the 42.
Now it says 3:22, so I wonder if it's on with the video board. South Allegheny got to find a way to stop the Scotties here, down by 2 scores. Kiefer to Wetzel. Wetzel up the middle, and Wetzel dives forward as another solid gain on first down.
He's getting big chunks throughout the day. You see multiple 4, 4, 5, 9, 5, 8, 11. So Wetzel's having a lot of success on the ground. We talked about Johnson coming in and giving him a break as well, but I really think that Wetzel's the guy in the backfield. And don't get me wrong, Johnson's a good change of pace to have.
Wetzel again. Wetzel, another chunk play to the outside, over the 20, down to the 15, and pushed out there by Guest.
That's just too easy. And again, South Allegheny just struggling to get pushed because it's about 10 or 15 yards there before he was touched.
First down and 10 from the 15. All Scotties here in half number 1, up 22-6. Trying to increase upon their lead. Kiefer. Now Wetzel. Wetzel up the middle, gains 5 down to the 10. And that's where the heart of the defensive line and Camden Lewis collapse on Wetzel. Clock continues to tick inside of 2. Now here in half number 1, quarter number 2.
9, Wetzel again. Gain of 5.
Scotties still have all 3 timeouts to their repertoire. Remember, nearing the second half and nearing the Planet Roof halftime show with DeSean Carter. The Youngstown State commit needing a big stop defensively there. Wetzel up the middle, and it's first and goal from the 4 for Southmoreland as Wetzel. Another chunk play there.
Number 9, Wetzel on the carry. Gain of 6. First and goal, Southmoreland at the 4.
This is a perfect drive for the Scotties right now. It's exactly what the Gladiators wanted to do on the prior drive, run the clock out going into half and get the ball back. But instead now it's the Scotties. They're going to have to defend coming out of the halftime break, but they're running this clock out, not giving South Allegheny much of a chance.
That time Wetzel had no chance as the floodgates opened. And coming through was the front 4 of South Allegheny, led by Camden Lewis again.
Second down and goal from the 4.
Second down and goal, 44 and counting here. Kiefer in the gun, Wetzel to his right, Richter near side, 2 receivers far side. They've already tried the fade with Keffer once. Fumbled, snap, and falling on it was Caden Kiefer. And on top of Kiefer went DeSean Carter. Timeout called by Southmoreland. That's their first. As Kiefer, a fumbled snap, got the recovery, and it's third down and goal from the 6-yard line on that 2-yard loss, and this would be huge for South Allegheny to find a way to get it a stop because, Liam, I know we don't know this for a fact, but I think we can put all the facts together. Kicking game, not something Southmoreland's too fond of, just from the way they don't run extra points.
Yeah, haven't kicked or attempted an extra point, I should say. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. For this Gladiator defense right now, stop would be huge. But, again, you talk about where this game is at right now. Gladiators have had some success offensively, but defensively haven't had the best night. It's been the Scotties running all over them. And you go back to that first possession where South Allegheny stuffed inside the 1, and that was really kind of a turning point in this first half. It's been all Southmoreland ever since. We'll see if they can score again. I mean, if you take this up to, at the very least, 28-6 going into halftime, you're feeling really good about where you're at. You probably already are if you're Southmoreland, but another score wouldn't hurt.
We've only been stopped once on offense tonight, 21 seconds on the clock. Man in motion, that's Keffer. Kiefer gets the snap, rolls right, pressure off the edge, fires it, and it's batted away as the defensive back of the Gladiators, Tyreek Chapman-Vasson.
Brings up 4th down and goal.
As Chapman-Vasson with the right arm makes it 4th and goal. And this will be a huge stop for South Allegheny.
Yeah, it sure would. But 6 yards away, we'll see for Southmoreland. For me, you know, they decide to roll out right and look for Keffer, who's been fantastic tonight. I don't see why you don't keep it on the ground with those timeouts.
See, I would have definitely done just on 3rd down. Now you kind of feel like you have to put it in the air as it results in 6 for the Southmoreland Scotties. As Kiefer finds his man, as that's Cody Bateman.
Southmoreland touchdown.
Good job there from Bateman, finding that pylon down there and just getting inside. Nice grab for 6. So in the end, it doesn't matter. But what I was saying is you might as well, you have the timeouts, you know, you don't get to keep them. So I would have probably had a carry at the very least on 3rd down. But regardless, it works for Southmoreland, and now the Gladiators are in a bit more trouble as they go for 2.
And it's a quick hitter. Wyatt Richter waltzes in for the 2-point conversion.
And with 12 seconds to play in the first half with a score, Southmoreland.
So really a flawless drive, top to bottom from Southmoreland. Clock gone. There's no opportunity for South Allegheny to do anything with 12 seconds left in this first half, and now you're up 30-6 going into halftime. You've got to love where you're at right now.
Yeah, big sequence there. South Allegheny needed a stop. They did not come up with one. And increasing lead here for the Southmoreland Scotties as we are just 12 seconds away from halftime here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Bronzik, quick kick near side, picked up by Camden Lewis. Lewis looking for a lane as Lewis spins away and slammed down on the near side after basically a loss on the return, and a flag comes flying in late.
Flag on the flight.
So a late flag, most likely in the realm of unsportsmanlike conduct. Will march South Allegheny even further back with just 5 seconds left. So do you take a knee and send it to the half, or you try to dial up the Hail Mary here if you're the Gladiators?
It's tough to say. I mean, you haven't had a lot of success through the air tonight if you're the Gladiators. Just haven't had a lot of time, really, to drop back and find options if you're Wearer. So, I mean, we'll see. They don't really have a target like Keffer. You know, if I'm Southmoreland, I would definitely consider it. Maybe Mahalski. You know, that could be definitely a target potentially. But I'm not sure what they're going to elect to do with only 5 seconds left, like we've alluded to. You know, you only have that one shot, so not to mention you've just backed yourself up even further.
Yeah, you're inside your own 20 now. 30-6 advantage here for Southmoreland over South Allegheny. 4th and 6 from the 6 conversion. Increased this Scotty lead when South Allegheny was trying to keep it a 2-possession deficit going into the half. As Weir will just take a knee and we will go to the half. 30-6 your score here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. When we come back, we'll have half number 2 for you here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Week 6 halftime show here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. We are now into the second half, closing in, getting that much closer to the stretch run. And then, of course, the district postseason in about a month. So good stuff, exciting stuff. And, of course, when you're talking postseason, you're talking in the past, the Highway to Hines. Well, we don't have that anymore. The March to the North Shore, Acrisure Stadium will be hosting 4 of the 6 championship games. Norwin High School and North Huntington will be hosting the other 2. That's sort of been the routine since the 6th classification era. But this is the 20th anniversary. Now, if you do the math, you say, well, wait, first championships were 2001. This is 2022. Dawn, your math stinks, and that would be true. But Chris Harlan, the fact is, of course, 2 years ago we had no championships on the North Shore. So 20 years at the facility on the North Shore, Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, WPIL championships. And just so many great games, so many outstanding performances. So that's sort of going to be our focus here on this edition of the halftime show. Some of the great players, some of the great performances in those 20 years.
Yeah, for me, when you think back on those 20 seasons of championships, one performance that kind of jumps out, it's just a bunch of them. One jumps out to me is Central Valley's Jordan Whitehead. 2014, he was there, led them to a win over West Allegheny. And I think really what sticks out, he had 3 touchdowns, but he had one later in that game. It was a 55-yard catch and run that was just an amazing one that showed, everything that Jordan Whitehead was and went on to be at Pitt and now in the NFL. One of those plays where he caught the ball and he slipped one tackler, ducked another, spun his way free and ran down the sideline 55 yards. To me, that one stands out, that performance, 3-touchdown game for him. And I think there's a history of that when you look back of some of the best players we've seen in Western Pennsylvania. When they get to that stage, a lot of them put up big-time performances at that stage. Some other ones immediately come back, Steve Breston, I think if you go back to 2001, that was the first year of the games at Heinz Field. He had over 200 yards rushing in a win over Central Catholic, a dominant win over Central Catholic. They kind of showed what Steve Breston was. Tyler Boyd had a 3-touchdown game his senior year when they in 2012, and that was win number 60 for them. They actually broke the WPL score consecutive games winning streak that year too with 60 wins. Robert Foster, another Central Valley guy, kind of sticks out. His sophomore year, I remember that 2010 year was the first year Central Valley was a team, and he came along and was a star sophomore and led them to kind of a surprising win that year over Montour. And he scored twice in that championship, had more than 150 yards from scrimmage. All guys who went on to big-time college, too.
Yep. I was there on the sidelines when Breston ripped off, I believe it was like an 85, 90-yard run early in that game against Central Catholic. Huge crowd, probably the biggest crowd that first year for that Woodland Hills Central Catholic game. One that stands out, a couple, Terrell Pryor, obviously, as well. It wasn't anything exciting as far as, games coming down to the last moment, but he had a huge game offensively and defensively in Jeanette's victory over Beaver Falls, which, by the way, is the last time Aliquippa did not play in a WPIAL championship game back in 2007. The 1-2 punch, I want to say it was 2008, 2009, Hopewell, West Allegheny.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody knew about Russell Shell of Hopewell. All eyes were on him. But, man, what a performance by Mike Caputo of West Allegheny. And those two just – it was like almost like a game. What am I trying to say? It's like a video game. The performances they were putting up.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that numbers here, it was amazing. We look back, 42 carries, 274 yards for Shell in a losing effort. That's what's amazing about that. You know, he had 4 touchdowns, 274 yards, 42 carries, and Caputo left with the trophy that day. Mike Caputo, West Allegheny. But yeah, that 2009 game, 36-28, definitely, I think, you know, there's a couple that have been great games over the years, some overtime games. But I don't know if in terms of just pure build-up and living up to the expectations, you can find a game that does more than that Hopewell West Allegheny game, because that was it from the whole season. People were waiting for that game, and it lived up to it.
That was one of the better games, no question about it. There were 3 overtime, or have been 3 overtime games. Central Valley beating Aliquippa in the 3A title game in 2019, the most recent. NA over St. Clair 11 years ago, 2011. This arguably one of the best games ever as well. Central Catholic, Gateway, the tremendous finish to that game, descended into overtime by Gateway, but Central Catholic prevailing by 1 in overtime, 35-34 in the 2007 Quad A championship.
Yeah, and for as much as I talked about Jordan Whitehead in that 55-yard touchdown that people at the time said might be, maybe the greatest play in championship history, I think Cam Sadler with Gateway, they might make a case too, because they ran the hook and lateral in the end of regulation to get that play, and they tied it up and sent it to overtime. They ended up losing in overtime because of a missed extra point, which is a heartbreaker. Central Catholic won that one in 2007, that 35-34 game. But, yeah, I mean, for Gateway to get back, I think they were down like 15 points with a minute left, pull off the hook and lateral, get to overtime. Yeah, that play there, the hook and lateral could be, I'm sure Gateway's going to argue that is the greatest play in Heinz Field history for WPL Championship.
Probably the best game I've seen, no question about it, because it was a great game up until those antics at the end. One, as we're winding things down, 5A, that's been the great thing about the expansion. The 5A championships since 2016 have been chock full of memories, great games down to the wire, including last year's Penn Trafford Moon game. How about the game where McKeesport, they were celebrating a championship against West Allegheny in the waning moments? They did the old Gatorade dump on Coach Miller, and as it turns out, West Allegheny made this amazing comeback and ended up winning the championship.
Yeah, the early Gatorade dump is never a good look.
No.
That one never works. Never works.
It's always a bad thing, no question about it. So, again, 4A, 3A, 2A, and Class A this year as the tradition continues. Now, Acrisure Stadium, 20 years of great memories, just scratching the surface here during this edition of the Halftime Show. Thanks to Chris Harlan. I'm Don Rebel. Enjoy the second half of the game. You're listening to Week 6 here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, a third-generation family-owned and operated business since 1964. Whether you are looking to propose, promise, celebrate, or surprise, Marbles has the expertise, selection, and price to make your shopping experience relaxed and easy. Visit our showroom located at 112 Pricedale Road in Bell Vernon, or call us at 724-929-6633. Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, your journey, your jeweler. Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs, because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com. Back here at the half on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network Planet Roof halftime interview. Pleased to be joined by senior running back, defensive end for the South Allegheny Gladiators, DeSean Carter. DeSean, first off, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and talk with us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So obviously a Division I recruit committed to play at Youngstown State.
Yeah.
What led you to that decision? We'll start there with playing at the Division I level for the Penguins.
Honestly, like when I went there, like to visit, honestly, like it just felt like home, like from the beginning, from the jump. It was a practice visit, spring practice visit. I went there. I liked the guys. I like all of it. It was my first offer actually, and then like I waited like a month, and I was like, why not commit now? They was like the first like school who believed in me. So yeah, then I took the opportunity. And I also received offers from Maine and North Carolina A&T after I committed. So yeah, it's been great.
So, obviously, before you got to that point, you had to get your start somewhere in the game of football. How did this whole process of playing football and the love of the game come to be for you?
Honestly, when I moved here in like 6th grade, I never played football ever in my life, like never, ever. Like my mom, honestly, shout out to her, my mom convinced me to play football. And then like my first year, I didn't really like it. I was contemplating on like playing it. I didn't know if I really liked it. And then ever since then, it's just been like my career, honestly.
So obviously behind us here in the background, this beautiful new facility that you guys get to play out. What's the difference been like? Obviously, you have the historical mounded dirt field in downtown Glassport to this beautiful on-campus facility here. How has this been able to come out and play on this field your senior year?
It's honestly a blessing. I thank the school. Thank Mr. Michael, Mr. Crown, Mr. McDonald for everything they do for us, and they blessed us with this beautiful facility, and I'm honestly excited for it. Honestly, I love it. It's one of my favorites. I think it's competing with it's one of the top stadiums in Whitfield. That's what, in my opinion. But our old one was definitely like breaking down and stuff like that. And I thank the school for just like investing in us, investing their money in us. They didn't have to do this, but they did it for us. And I just thank the whole community of South Allegheny for just blessing it with this with us, honestly.
So obviously, maybe not the start to the year you guys wanted it, back and forth, up and down in your first section game. Of course, you get the new considered top dogs of 3A with a depleted roster. But, you know, you come into a game here on Friday night with Southmoreland, a team that possibly you will be fighting with for that final playoff spot. How do you guys regroup, even though, you know, your numbers aren't big, but get ready and say, okay, hey, we are still a competitive team. We can come out here. We can compete for a playoff spot, and we got to take care of business here tonight.
Yeah, honestly, this ain't our first time starting off bad. Like last year, we started off 0-4, I think, and we ended up making the playoffs for the first time in like 5 to 6 years. And the year before that, during COVID year, we started off 0-2. I'm pretty sure 0-2. And then we ended up finishing 5-2. I'm pretty sure. And then yeah, so it's not nothing new for me, honestly. We're just gonna regroup. We've been watching all the film, lifting, practicing every day. I've been getting up every day, 5 a.m., lifting before school, all that. It's just been a grind, honestly, and I feel like we're going to get it done.
So, obviously, a lot of work to be done, and a lot of work has been put in for you guys this season. How has, you know, the process of everything in your senior year been? You know, it's the last time for everything, basically, for you. So how has that been going into this last year, the experiences that you've had so far, and then what are you looking forward to getting out of your last year of high school football?
Honestly, my goal is to like make the playoffs and make a run for it, honestly. Like, we haven't won a playoff game, and I don't even know how long. So I honestly want to make history for that first. And for self-accolades, I'm not, like, the one to be worried about all them self-accolades. But for me, honestly, my goal is, like, be all-state, Big 33, all that. I'm trying to achieve that. I've been working for it, and I honestly believe I could achieve that. And then for the future, I just want to, like, after the season, get ready for college. I'm going to be playing basketball this year. I want to, like, help us. We also got Bryce Epps, we got Bryce Epps on our basketball team. And I'm we're gonna work with him. We're gonna help make a big run in the playoffs, honestly. So yeah, B.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all of this coming into this year, and you say, you know, I'm not about self accolades. And has that helped you throughout the process, kind of keeping you grounded, especially through your recruiting process? Even that it's, hey, I'm more a team-centered, team-oriented guy than about myself. Has that helped you in the long run, not just on the field, because you're caring more about doing what you can do to help your team win than just put up big numbers? And has it helped you preparing to move on to the next level?
Yeah, honestly, it helps me stay humble because, like, no one knew me my freshman and sophomore year. No one knew me at all. I'm just like, it just like hits me. I'm just staying humble about like all the process. Like, people ask me all the time about like where I'm going and stuff like that. And like, I committed to Youngstown. People ask me why I committed so early and stuff like that. So yeah, and then yeah, basically I just like try to keep myself humbled. And for the future, because I'm gonna go there my freshman year at Youngstown State and try to get some playing time early. So yeah, I'm gonna just work for everything I have.
So we've obviously seen you both sides of the ball. You're an integral part at that defensive end position where you're going to play college ball at. But, you know, was there any consideration of wanting to play on the offensive side at the next level, or is it just defense has always been your thing where you love to play, kind of like mixing it up in the back end on the defensive side?
Oh, well, my freshman year, like, I loved, like, receiver. Like, I used to, like, my quarterback, shout out Eric Weir, number 12. We used to, like, after my freshman year, we used to go to the field every day. I used to just run routes and stuff like that. He used to throw me to me and all that. I never knew, like, I'd be going to college for defense until, like, my sophomore year, honestly. Because I was originally, like, a middle linebacker and receiver. And then, like, for, like, the first 2 games we lost, we weren't doing so well. So the coach made the switch to put me at the end. I was, like, 180. And I started balling at it. I think I got all conference honors and stuff like that. And I just gained weight from there. And it just, yeah, it's been defense ever since.
So, obviously, the big run starting here for you after that Bell Vernon game inside of section play. How does being in a section with 2 very top-heavy teams, which it seems like with you have Bell Vernon, you have EF, who's been around here, who you guys know pretty well playing with them in the past. How does that help you prepare for your other games and say, okay, we know we may struggle here, but we're still going to go out, we're still going to compete, but it's going to help us in the long run because we know how to prepare better for other games?
Yeah, it's good playing like these like WPO championship bound teams early because like it just helps us prepare for like the playoffs basically. Like that's our goal to like reach the playoffs and make a run. So it's just preparing us to play playoff caliber teams. So yeah, playing EF and Bell Vernon, 2 very good teams, and it's just getting us ready. We have a very young team, so it's just getting them ready for like varsity action and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I got 2 more questions for you. We'll start with this. So obviously you said, you know, a lot of people necessarily didn't know much about you coming into this process. Obviously you said you started in 6th grade with football when you moved here. Really your sophomore year you started to break out. Now, again, a Division I recruit. But what's something maybe unique about you that people may not know? Maybe something you like that's different or just something in general?
Ooh, it's a hard question. Honestly don't know, like really.
Hey, that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I sometimes just try to get the people to know you a little better. That's, again, the goal of always doing these interviews, sitting down with guys like, or I guess standing up with guys like DeSean, so you guys get a chance to know what these guys do a lot better. But one last question for you. I end every interview this way, and I've had great success, at least on the way I feel about this question, but last thing most times you hear before a sporting event, before you start playing, national anthem, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a 2-parter. Well, 1, is the national anthem a pump-up song? 2, is the greatest pump-up song of all time? And what goes through your head when you hear that before you get ready for a game?
Oh, so as national anthem, it's like it gives me goosebumps when I'm just sitting there for the national anthems, like on the sideline, just waiting for the game to start. It gives me goosebumps. And Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill for like the most legendary pregame song ever. And what did you ask for the 3rd one?
So what goes through your head when you hear that anthem right before you get ready to go? Last thing you normally hear before you put that helmet on and it's go time.
Oh, it just gives me like just goosebumps. Really, it's like makes me like excited for the game. Honestly, when I hear the national anthem before we go out there. So yeah, it just gives me goosebumps mostly, and it's just like it's go time after that. Everybody's clapping. It's go time. Like about to go compete.
Again, really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to do this. Good luck on this season. Really looking forward to seeing what you and the Gladiators do throughout the course of this year. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch you guys play.
Appreciate you.
All right, thank you, DeSean. When we come back here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, we'll have the second half of your game between the South Allegheny Gladiators and the Southmoreland Scotties right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs. Because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com. Back here at the break, 30-6 your score. Southmoreland on top of South Allegheny, as it has been all Scotty's scoring on all but one possession so far here tonight, as Caden Kiefer threw the air a couple times, actually a trio of times through the air for Caden Kiefer. Once to Keffer, once to Bateman, and if I'm not mistaken, the other one, I have it written down, I should just look at it, but once on the ground to start the scoring, and then he again went the 89-yard bomb to Keffer, the fade to Keffer, and then the 6-yard pass to Bateman for the Southmoreland scores. And on the other side of things for South Allegheny, it was a 24-yard pitching catch as Weir found Cam Epps in the back of the end zone. And it's going to be an important drive for the Gladiators coming out of the break. They got to find a way to score on this initial drive, or you can pretty much wrap it in. The way Southmoreland's moved the ball and controlled the pace offensively, if South Allegheny doesn't score here, you're most likely seeing the mercy roll starting after Southmoreland's first possession.
Yeah, things could get tricky here early on if the Gladiators don't go out and score here. Now, it's been interesting because they had success on their first offensive drive where they ended up being stuffed inside the one. You know, they were able to score initially that with little time remaining in the first quarter. After that drive with 24-yard pass to Cam Epps. It was a good job by Eric Ware there to, took a big hit but made a big play, found Epps in the back of the end zone, so give him a lot of credit. But at the same time, just the Gladiators haven't gotten a lot going on offense overall after that kind of success in the first quarter. The second quarter, the running game didn't really carry over. I thought they got away from Carter when they probably shouldn't have. I didn't really see any reason why they gave him less carries other than the fact that they were fighting against the clock, but they still had time when they got the ball with that last drive. Got it with about 5 minutes at about their 35 to 40-yard line, so decent field position, decent time to do whatever you want with your drive, with your timeouts. But
72 yards on the ground, 43 on that one big Carter run. But right now, Southmoreland, they moved it through the air, they moved it on the ground, they've moved it at will. And again, a stop and a score away from invoking the mercy rule. We'll come back, break down some halftime numbers for you, and get you set for quarter number 3 right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Bring together expert faculty, offer programs in high-demand fields, add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. The right brands, price, and advice since 1946. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress is the Mon Valley's choice for selection, service, and savings for over 75 years. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. You're going to like us a lot. We guarantee it. G-Force Athletic Club free after-school youth boxing program for ages 10 to 18, located at 338 Fallowfield Avenue in Charleroi. G-Force's certified USA boxing coaches provide training in amateur boxing, running, and weight training. G-Force also provide a positive environment and Christian mentoring for our rising generations. For more information, call 202-262-0584. Back here from Gladiator Stadium as we get set for half number 2 on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Again, important sequence for the Gladiators, who will get the ball to start here in half number 2. But right now it has been all Scotties in every single major category. Southmoreland has led the way here in this one, as 15 first downs to 3 for South Allegheny. 22 carries, 138 yards on the ground versus 13 for 72 for South Allegheny. 177 air yards for Caden Kiefer, 25 for Weir, and 24 of them came on one deep pass to Cam Epps. As penalties, South Allegheny, that's really the only category they are leading in, as 4 penalties for 29 yards, 3 for 25 for the Southmoreland Scotties. No turnovers. Kiefer was 7 for 9 for 177 in that half, 3 for 4 for 25 for the South Allegheny Gunslinger. But again, every major statistical category, at least every positive one, has been led by Southmoreland here in this one, and that's a recipe for success, and it's proved to be that so far here tonight.
And the score line indicates just that, 30-6 lead here at halftime for the Scotties. So, they've done a really good job tonight on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they've had all kinds of success, especially on the ground, and like you alluded to before, that's really opened up a lot of opportunities through the air for Caden Kiefer, who's had a splendid first half. Tossed 2 touchdowns, or 3, I should say, with that third one coming with 12 seconds left in the half. And then, they're doing a good job. Trey Wetzel on the ground, a huge game. You got Jeffrey Johnson giving him some relief with a very modest gain as well. So it's really been too easy thus far for the Scotties. Defensively, South Allegheny not able to put up enough of a fight. They have at times on a few drives. Like we mentioned before, they got that big stop with about 5 minutes left in the second quarter to get the ball back, but they squandered it, didn't do anything with it. Another opportunity that South Allegheny could have had, but they weren't able to take.
Yeah, see what the Gladiators can do here in half number 2. They will get the ball to start, and they got to find a way to get on the board. Otherwise, Southmoreland could make this a very quick-moving half number 2 here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Next week, of course, more Friday night action for you on MVI Live, as we will take the trip down to California. Huge matchup between Cal and Carmichael's. Really 3 teams competing for 2 spots. West Green, Cal, Carmichael's, Monessen, and Mapletown, top 2 dogs in the conference. But Carmichael's, who lost to West Green already, was in front of Monessen last time we checked in on the Greyhounds. So that is going to be a huge game for both parties involved come next week.
Yeah, and that's always big, these games, as you get further into the season, further into conference play, there may be some matchups that are unexpectedly more important than others, but regardless, you got 2 teams up top in Mapletown and Monessen, but
yeah, when we were putting the schedule together, we thought it was going to be an important game, but we thought possibly a conference championship game, not a fighting for your playoff life game, which still equally as impressive and as important.
Yeah, so not exactly what you may have thought coming into the season, but regardless, the importance is obviously there. So that one will be interesting.
We'll see how that goes, of course, next week. Full slate of games on deck for you. Monday, I believe, gets us started with a rematch between the Bell Vernon Leopards and the Ringgold Rams ladies soccer team. So we'll have that for you to start Monday. And that will lead to your Friday night lights between the Mighty Mikes and the Trojans from California. As right foot squib into the ball, takes a hop out past Cameron Epps. Epps fields around the 15, and Cameron Epps going nowhere as he's swallowed up by Cam Phillips.
Cameron Epps. Tackled at the 16.
Epps absolutely nowhere to go after that ball had a lot of English on it on the squib kick. As Franzik is able to knock it down just like his counterpart kicker. Does some soccer playing. Of course, Southmoreland knows all about talented soccer players with their star on the girls' side of things with Olivia Cernudo. She is absolutely outstanding. Back to DeSean Carter goes South Allegheny. And Carter a huge first carry of the half as Carter out over the 30 down to the 34-yard line.
DeSean Carter on the carry.
Yeah, great run there. I just,
Pick up a 17.
like I said, I don't really see why they got away from that down the stretch in the first half.
Mark Carter out at the 33-yard line. First and 10 there for the Gladiators. Carter the back, two receivers near side, one far side, H-back Lewis. Low snap, handoff fake. Weir tries right side, he's going nowhere, maybe back to the line of scrimmage before he's slammed down by the South Allegheny defense, or the Southmoreland defense, excuse me.
Stacked up in the line, no gain.
Jeffrey Johnson.
Second down 10 at the 33.
Second and 10 now for the Gladiators. You have to wonder, was that initially maybe meant to go to Carter, but that low snap really put everything out of sorts. And even if it wasn't, your read has to come so late. There's all this pressure in the backfield for you at the beginning of it.
Yeah, that is what it looked like. Kind of looked like a busted play after the snap, like you said.
Another low snap. Weir just falls on it. And it'll be stopped for a loss inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line. So from bad to worse on second down to third down.
Yeah, and these are the types of mistakes you just can't have if you're South Allegheny and you're trying to claw your way back into this game. Just not good enough. That exchange between the center and the quarterback has to be crisp at this point in the second half.
Ryan Cordis loosening on the near sideline. He started last week against Bell Vernon while Weir was injured. Interested to see if he comes back in. Pressure coming across the middle. Camden Lewis met at the initial point of reception and stopped down there. And Lewis gets back to the original line of scrimmage before Austin Moe brings him down.
Gain of 5 on the play.
And it'll be 4th and 10 and the punting unit back on for the Gladiators.
Yeah, so for South Allegheny, obviously not what you wanted out of that drive coming out of the break. On the other side, the Scotties doing a great job defensively, and they're going to be able to take advantage, it seems, and really take control even further of this football game.
As off the hop, Ty Keffer knocked down on the far side by the punt coverage of Tyreek Chapman-Vanson.
What number 7? 26-yard punt. Ty Kemper.
Southmoreland takes over, first down and 10 from the 43.
Brings up first down at 10 from the 43 for Southmoreland.
About 3 minutes off the clock and nothing to show for it for South Allegheny. Southmoreland's lethal offense back to work. At least that's how they've been tonight. As Wetzel up the middle and another chunk run for Trey Wetzel. Gain of 9 for the senior back.
Handoff goes to number 9, Trey Wetzel. Gain of 9. Brings up second down and 1 at the 48.
Second down and 1 as the Southmoreland Scotties head to the line. Ty Keffer far side, 2 receiver near side. Wetzel flanking the quarterback, Caden Kiefer. Kiefer gets the snap, handoff Wetzel, and Wetzel first down yardage with a gain of 2 as ball came out on the sequence, and it's going to be recovered by one of the offensive linemen for Southmoreland. That's Niederheiser. So it would have been a first down if it wasn't for the fumble, but that will make it 3rd and 1 and a chance for SA to get off the field.
Yeah, big chance here for South Allegheny, but Wetzel there having his first little mistake of this contest here. Lucky that the Gladiators didn't come away with that one.
Kiefer, quarterback sneak up the middle, and it's going to be close. And with the extra push, Caden Kiefer from about half a football length ahead of the line to gain moves the chains for Southmoreland.
He is enough for the Scotties first down at the 46-yard line.
1st and 10, Southmoreland as the drive continues. Clock down to 7:35 here in the 3rd quarter. Kiefer in the gun. Wetzel the back. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Kiefer looks to throw, and flag before the snap. As this one will go against the Southmoreland Scotties on the false start, marching them back 5 yards.
And you remember initially on that first drive for Southmoreland, it was 3 encroachment calls on South Allegheny. Ever since then, it's mostly been penalties on the other side.
And I think DeSean Carter's been a big reason for the majority of these other penalties, as he has been very disruptive for the South Allegheny defense, but hasn't had a lot of help otherwise. As in the gun, Kiefer, twin receivers near side, Kiefer far side, handoff, Wetzel stood up at the line of scrimmage. Camden Lewis with the stop for no gain at the midfield stripe. And it's 2nd and 15 for the Scotties. Caden Kiefer gets the plays from the sideline and brings it back to the huddle. 2nd down and 10. Or 15 for Southmoreland. All but one drive tonight has resulted in Scotty points. If it wasn't for a holding penalty to negate a huge pass play, that one might have as well. Fake handoff, bootleg rollout, and that one's almost intercepted as Hernandez jumps the route as he steps right in front of the intended target, Elliot Primus.
Yeah, it was a good job there from Hernandez. Good coverage. Read it all the way. Big pass break up there.
Third down and 14 here for Southmoreland. 10 seconds left on the play clock as the Scotties break the huddle. Down to 5. They have to hurry. Twin receivers each side. Kiefer gets the snap, looks to throw. Carter off the edge as he throws one up and way out of the reach of his intended target. That was Ty Keffer streaking down the far sideline, and South Allegheny gets the stop defensively.
Nice stand there from this Gladiator defense. Just need to see if they can be more opportunistic, especially offensively. You know, maybe another spark via special teams here would help for certain, but got to be able to put drives together. Got to get Carter the ball and get him downfield and open things up through the air.
Ronnie Collins sends it away. Takes a bounce back to Cam Epps, and Epps cuts it far side. Now tries to change direction, but he's slammed down at the 20-yard line by Austin Moe. Rodney Collins, his older sister, was a part of that historic run the Southmoreland Scotties girls basketball team made a few years back when they were making deep runs into the WPIAL postseason. Of course, Southmoreland's still a very potent squad with Olivier Cernudo, who's committed to play basketball at the next level. Cernuto's name's very prominent. Southmoreland, Zach Cernuto at W&J, who's the all-time leading passer for the Scotties. Another low snap. Again, eventually the handoff to Carter, who scampers his way forward for a 2.5-yard gain, bringing up 2nd down and 8 for South Allegheny. .557 rolling, third quarter clock. Michael Mahalski, far side. Near side. Garancy and Cam Epps. Carter in the backfield to the right of his man, Weir. Low snap. Weir rings it in. Quick out and incomplete. Might have been deflected at the line as he was looking for Garancy on the near side.
Yeah, it sure looked like it was deflected at the line there. You saw a few Scotties celebrating about that one.
See the frustration as Weir comes back to the sideline to get this 3rd down and 8 play. First 2 drives were great offensively for South Allegheny, but only one resulted in points. The other one ended at the 1-yard line. DeSean Carter has been the only key offensive piece really for this consistent piece for this South Allegheny team, and the low snap's been consistent as well as Primus off the edge hauls down Weir as Elliot Primus picks up the sack, making 4th down even longer in another punt for Camden Lewis coming here for the Gladiators.
4th down, 13 from the 17.
Again, it's tough when that interaction, that exchange, I guess, with center and quarterback isn't going well. It just makes everything so hard, and that's what's happening right now.
As that one almost blocked, definitely affected the punt by Camden Lewis as it trickles out of bounds, just really almost at the lead stick, the 34-yard line. Camden Lewis pleading his case for a penalty, saying he got run into, but none will come.
Southmoreland takes over. 1st and 10.
3 possessions, 3 punts here in half number 2. And great starting field position for the Scotties on their 2nd drive of the half. 4:49 remaining here in the half. 1st and 10, Southmoreland from the South Allegheny 34. Kiefer in the gun. Collins near side, 2 receivers. It's Bateman and Keffer far side. Man in motion, Richter. Screen to Richter. Richter past the first line, but that's it. As coming from the DM position to make the stop is DeSean Carter.
Nice little play design there, but South Allegheny doing a good job of reading that one as well.
2nd and 8 now for the Scotties, leading 30-6 here in half number 2.
2nd and 9 from the 33.
Kiefer in the gun, trips near side, looks to pass, he's going far side. That one's hauled in by Ty Keffer, who picks up the 1st down and more inside the 20 down to around the 19.
Kiefer's pass complete to 7. Keffer.
That connection's been lethal all night.
Yeah.
Keffer already 2 touchdowns.
You couldn't tell me that man did not play football before this year. Absolutely impressive what he's been able to do in his first year.
And I think going back to the first half, you saw him grab a jump ball kind of contested catch early on. Obviously he has the size, but I think it's that basketball background that really helps him out.
Near side, Ronnie Collins breaks the first tackle, flag thrown as Collins works his way into the end zone for another Scotty score, or actually a Scotty drive down to the 1, but this one most likely going to be coming back.
Yeah, right. When it was caught there, Wyatt Richter with a block in the back, right where the ball was caught. So that one's going to be pulled back.
So the effort for Collins to get down to the 1 is for nah, as that will march the Scotties backwards.
Illegal block in the back.
3:33 remaining here in the half. 30-6 your score. All Southmoreland here tonight. Trying to put SA at 0-2 inside the 3A Interstate Conference. Bateman and Collins far side, 2 receivers near side. Kiefer to Keffer. Keffer in the flat. Keffer up over the 20, down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line as he gets back past the initial line of scrimmage, making it third down, or third down and about 7 here for the Southmoreland Scotties.
Second down and 6 from the 16.
Actually make it second down and 6, not third down. SA going to try to get it to third down. Kiefer, the quarterback keeper, is trying to rip it out, was weird and no avail, as down to the 19, or make it the 14, excuse me, goes Kiefer, and it's going to be third down for Southmoreland, most likely 2 downs to get this here.
Gain of 5. Third down and 4.
Yeah, 2 opportunities here, like you said, to keep this drive going. And right now, the Scotties in no rush to get things going with the score how it is. Up 24 right now. Clock's ticking towards the end of the third quarter. Everything's perfect for them right now.
Kiefer looks to pass. Quick hitter finds his man. That's Keffer. Keffer going to be stopped short of the 5 at the 6-yard line, but not before he picks up another Scotty first down.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Southmoreland have opted for these short passes in the second half.
Southmoreland first down.
A lot of quick hitters, like you said, which we really didn't see as much of in the first half. Hasn't replaced the run game, but it's certainly kind of complemented it when you think about all the success they had on the ground in the first half.
Southmoreland spreading it out on 1st and goal. Kiefer, quick pass near side, Ronnie Collins, and Collins stopped for a loss of 1. As getting there was Chapman Vanson, the sophomore cornerback.
Number 4, Ronnie Collins brought down in the backfield, loss of 2.
48 in a rolling third quarter clock. Orvitz replaces Collins in the game for Southmoreland. We saw a big reception by Orvitz earlier tonight. Play action across the middle. Flag goes flying at the goal line. The ball through the hands of Wyatt Richter.
It's a really nice throw there to thread that needle, and Richter just couldn't quite corral it. Offensive penalty anyway, but able to fit that through a tight window. Been a few really nice throws tonight from Caden Kiefer. He's had an exceptional game.
Yeah, I mean, take your pick of one of the 2 Ty Keffer touchdowns. Both were beautiful balls. One finding Keffer on the run around the 40-yard line. The other one painting the back corner with the fade. It was absolutely beautiful.
Second down and goal from the 13.
Second and goal from the 13 after the penalty. Richter near side. Keffer and Bateman far side. Wetzel the back. Quick to Keffer. Keffer working his way down to the 5. Gets the edge, and Keffer times 3 as Ty Keffer from Caden Kiefer.
Into the end zone, touchdown, Southmoreland.
Just a bit confused about South Allegheny there, and that seemed just so deep with their secondary. You know, elected to give that space up front to Southmoreland, and they were just picking it apart that entire drive there. So The Scotties showing that they have various ways that they can attack here.
That's kind of what Southmoreland's MO's been here in half number 2. You had to expect it coming, but they worked to kind of, the advantage is a little light defense there as the run was still being, I think, respected by the Scotties, as there's Jeffrey Johnson sliding down on the turf, and the 2-point conversion is no good, and some extracurriculars after the whistle. 30-point advantage for the Scotties. Again, there's some pushing and shoving and some laundry on the field after that, with one of the defensive linemen and one of the Scotties. So short drive for Southmoreland. Started at the South Allegheny 34, ended up with a 13-yard pitching catch, as it was a personal foul against the South Allegheny Gladiators and against Cam Epps. And the flag was thrown on the push. It was a defensive lineman, so I think I can understand the frustration of Cameron Epps on that one.
Yeah, and it's tough.
I mean, it was a penalty nonetheless, but
it's tough when you're down 30 points and you feel a bit disrespected. Things can happen, but for this South Allegheny squad here tonight, early success offensively, and it hasn't really been sustained. Defensively, it's really been all Southmoreland's offense taking advantage throughout this one. So tough to say, because this was one of your chances in interstate conference play to come away with a victory, but
as it'll be good field position for the Gladiators at their own 29-yard line after the squibbing kick by Franzik.
Kick covered by number 55, DJ Taylor.
20 seconds remaining here in the quarter. Head coach Darwin Mangus frustrated about something with the official on the sideline. I wonder if it still goes back to that unsportsmanlike penalty that came about, as kind of continuing to show like a swimming motion with something that maybe the Southmoreland team was doing before that shove came to be. I think the Southmoreland team's yelling at the South Allegheny coaching staff. It was the man who was in the thick of all that, Jeffrey Johnson. We're in the gun. Low snap again. That's been the kind of MO tonight. It gets it to a 2-yard gain for DeSean Carter. And what will most likely be the final play of the half, as that was Ryan Cordes in there to take that snap to start this drive. As I said, we have seen him warming up on the sideline, and he did take over for the final play of the quarter. We'll take a break, come back, and bring this one home right here on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. The right brands, price, and advice since 1946. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress is the Mon Valley's choice for selection, service, and savings for over 75 years. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. You're going to like us a lot. We guarantee it. G-Force Athletic Club free after-school youth boxing program for ages 10 to 18, located at 338 Fallowfield Avenue in Charleroi. G-Force's certified USA boxing coaches provide training in amateur boxing, running, and weight training. G-Force also provide a positive environment and Christian mentoring for our rising generations. For more information, call 202-262-0584. Back here, quarter number 4, Cordis in the gun. Handoff goes to DeSean Carter, near side. Carter, stiff arm of Johnson. Carter tries to break another tackle as he works his way out towards the line to gain, and it's going to be 3rd down and 1 for the Gladiators.
Again, good running by Carter. He's had a pretty good night for himself on the ground, despite his team not having a ton of success.
First down, Gladiators.
I mean, he's been a star throughout his career at South Allegheny, obviously. Doing a good job here tonight.
I'm actually going to give him enough for the first down, saying Carter got to the line to gain. Cordis in the gun, 2 receivers far side, Mahalski near side, low snap, hand off, DeSean Carter going nowhere. As the South Allegheny defensive line breaks through, as it's Wetzel.
Short gain to the 40.
And DeSean Carter reaching for his right leg. Not what you want to see if you're South Allegheny, as DeSean Carter down on the turf with an injury. Looks like it might just be some cramping for Carter, which would be great to see if that's all it is.
Yeah, he's pointing to his hamstring, and I'm hoping it looked like he may have been cramping. You know, it's so cold here tonight, so that could potentially be what it was.
You know, kind of when you extend your leg the wrong way, everything just tightens up and kind of goes into a spasm. I think that might have been what happened the way Wetzel bent him over.
Yeah, I was going to say that was an interesting one too, because he was really bent like a pretzel when he was taken down all sorts of ways. So shaken up now is Carter. Not what you want to see if you're South Allegheny.
As they're going to help DeSean Carter back to his feet, will have to come out.
Looks like he's okay, though, which is a great sign, obviously.
So one play, Carter will be out, most likely come right back in for the Gladiators. 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain. As move Hernandez into the backfield. Cordis in the gun. Looks to pass, Ryan Cordis across the middle, a little high, but it's caught by Cameron Epps. As Cordis' first pass is a connection, as Cam Epps takes it into Scotty Real Estate down to the 44-yard line. Cordis to Epps.
He has the Gladiator first down, all the way down to the Southmoreland 44.
Carter stays out once again for this play. You know, you look at the sideline difference. South Allegheny, just about 20 or so players on this roster, as Camden Lewis straight up the gut for a gain of 2. Outside the 40 as he stopped at the 42, but this is a school going up against a Bell Vernon-like team, an EFs, the EFs of the world. Come later this season with a roster of this size. Almost kind of doesn't seem fair for a team like the Gladiators.
Yeah, it's tough for the Gladiators. Like you said, just a big discrepancy when you look at these sidelines and the players that you have at each side's disposal. And obviously one team is going to end up being worn down. The other one's going to have that depth and have more opportunities to have different guys come in and make plays, and different guys on the lines, especially wear and tear throughout the game. So
you know, just 10 players on the sideline plus the 11 on the field for the South Allegheny Gladiators in uniform here tonight. And it is not easy to compete when that's all you have at your disposal. And a stoppage in play here and a timeout with 9:24 remaining here in the half. 36-6, South Allegheny trailing Southmoreland. 3 Ty Keffer touchdown receptions, 4 touchdown passes, and 1 rushing touchdown by Caden Kiefer. All Scotties here tonight who are on the verge of their first conference win in 3A interstate play.
Allegheny County is important to me. It's where I grew up.
Yeah, big win
And where my husband
that
and
it's
I
going to
decided
be
to
for the
raise children.
Scotties, considering, like we said, how big of a matchup this is in terms of interstate conference play, trying to get that final playoff spot.
Help keep Allegheny County
Put
fair and
Southmoreland
water clean.
one step closer, trying to obtain that and trying to
Is made here.
make history, back-to-back playoff appearances.
Cordis to Epps, and Epps gets a foot in and hauls it in around the 25-yard line. Second reception this drive for Cam Epps.
At the 25. Another Gladiator first down.
I will say something, though, Liam, that I've noticed. It's not going to be long before I think we see another flag for unsportsmanlike, whether it be there's something brewing with Jeffrey Johnson in this South Allegheny team. As perfectly timed blitz picked up, and DeSean Carter will make his way down to around the 20-yard line.
Number 2, Carter on the carry. Gain of 3. Makes it second down and 7 from the 22.
"36-6 your score. Scotty's on top as the troops head to the line for South Allegheny. Cordis in the gun. To his right, Carter, deep back, Lewis. Cordis looks to throw, pressure coming, fires it up, and nobody home besides the Scotties defense. And it's intercepted by Caden Matthews.
Intercepted by number 3, Kate Matthews.
Yeah, just not a great decision there from
Scotties will take over.
Cortez, trying to find
First and 10.
Epps, maybe a miscommunication or the route maybe being wrong, because it looked like they were on 2 completely different pages there. Way overshot Epps, and nice play there, athletic from, I believe that was Wetzel who picked that off. Rather, Caden Matthews, excuse me.
First and 10 from their own 20. .8:38 remaining here in the half. Kiefer in the gun. Kiefer, handoff up the gut. That's Cam Phillips in cleanup time. And the sophomore Phillips up over the 25 to the 26-yard line.
Number 24, Cameron Phillips on the carry. Gain of 6. Second on a 4 at the 26.
Time continues to burn away here. Southmoreland nearing their first conference win of the season. Twin receivers far side. Ty Keffer all alone on the near side. Cam Phillips remains the tailback. He'll get the call once again. Phillips all sorts of room to run. First down and more as Phillips is wrapped down by Cam Epps on the far side.
Number 24, Phillips on the carry again. He picks up the Southmoreland first down.
Actually make that
We first and 10 at the 36.
Tyreek Chapman Vanson, who is going to come off a little worse for the wear, was reaching at his right leg, and wonder if he's cramping up as well. Kiefer make that Caden Matthews handoff up the middle, and nowhere to go for Cam Phillips. Loss of 2, make it 3 on the play. On the handoff from Matthews to
Stacked up for a loss of 3.
Phillips. Time continuing to tick away here
13.
as Caden Matthews brings the play in from the sideline. Phillips goes right side, cuts it back up the gut. Phillips out to the 40, as Cameron Phillips makes it 3rd down and much more manageable on the 2nd down and long carry, as Southmoreland seems content to keep it on the ground.
Ball carrier. Picks up 7.
Yeah, nice running there from Phillips. He's looked solid in these few carries that he's gotten on this drive as well. Really just goes to show how well Southmoreland is blocking in this game. You know, run blocking's been outstanding for them. And it's clearly shown if you look at their rushing stats.
3rd down and 6. Matthews, first time in the air, finds Ty Keffer, who was Caden Kiefer's favorite target, and that's enough for the 1st down. 6:04 now remaining here in the contest. 36-6 lead for the Southmoreland Scotties.
Number 7, Ty Keffer on the reception.
Good job there from Keffer. You know, you talked about it being his first year in football, but has the awareness to get to the sticks before settling down and looking for that football. See guys, even at the professional level, sometimes they don't know where they're at on the field.
Handoff up the middle for Cam Phillips, who wrestles his way over midfield down to the 47 before a host of Gladiators bring him down to the turf.
Pick up a 7. 2nd down and 3.
This is picture perfect right now for the Scotties. It's now 5.5 minutes remaining, and icing this one away here. Another really good drive up to this point, having a lot of success on the ground like we've said all night.
Phillips again gets the call, and Phillips gets back to the line of scrimmage and no further, as DeSean Carter on the far side stops him for no gain. 3rd and 3, 5:08 rolling 4th quarter clock, 36-30.
3rd down and 3 from the 47.
Just one score this half belonging to Southmoreland. Trying to convert this 3rd down. Matthews, handoff Phillips, and Phillips breaks through down to the 40 and in for another Scotty 1st down.
Number 24, Cameron Phillips has enough for another Southmoreland.
As Cameron Phillips has moved the ball at will, it has not mattered tonight, whether it be Wetzel, whether it be Johnson, or whether it be Phillips. Southmoreland has had all sorts of success on the ground here this evening.
And that's opened a lot of things up through the air as well. So really solid offensively here tonight from Southmoreland. They put on a clinic here at this new Gladiator Stadium.
As all sorts of confusion on motion will result in a Scotty timeout here. That's their first of the half. 36-6 lead for the Southmoreland Scotties. Just 4:09 remaining here in this one, as Southmoreland easily on the way to conference win number 1 here this evening. Next game for Southmoreland. That will be obviously next Friday when they return home to take on Greensburg-Salem. And for South Allegheny, they will be on the road at one of the big 2 dogs inside the Interstate Conference, as they'll hit the road to Elizabeth Forward, who mercy rolled them in a lightning delay game last year at Old Glassport Memorial Stadium. Jet sweep handoff near side, running with it and breaking a tackle as he bounces it to the edge before being wrestled down by Cameron Epps. Was Gabe Kabuski.
22, Gabe Kabuski on the carry.
So a jet sweep works to perfection for Kabuski and Southmoreland.
He picks up the Southmoreland first down.
Under 4 to play now here in the half. Handoff up the middle, new ball carriers this time by, it's Cole Teets getting the carry as the sophomore makes his way forward for a pickup of 3 on the play.
Number 41, Cole Teets.
So right now, the Scotties using this time to
Gain of 2.
get a lot of guys. We mentioned how many
Second down and 8.
more they have on that sideline than South Allegheny. Using this as time to get those guys some reps right now. Why not?
Handoff. Teets again up the middle, and he'll squirm forward over the 25 down to the 23-yard line. Clock continues to roll as it's 3rd down and 3 for Southmoreland as we reach 3 minutes remaining in a rolling 4th quarter clock.
Number 41, Cole Teets on the carry again. Gain of 4. Makes it 3rd down and 4 at the 23.
Caden Matthews under center. High formation for the first time tonight. Pitch out. That's to Cam Phillips. Tries to get to the edge. He will, but his second effort is not enough for the first down as he'll be about a yard short.
24, Cameron Phillips. Gain of 2. 4th down and 2 at the 21.
Drive started with 8:38 remaining in the quarter. Now 2:14 remaining as they've marched it down from their own 20. So 80 yards thus, or 60 yards thus far on the drive, and obviously first down will end the game basically with just a couple kneel downs could finish it off as misdirection. Cam Phillips first down and more as he's knocked out of bounds on the far side by the Gladiators. 1:50 remaining here in the half.
We 1st and 10 at the 17.
Good run in there from Phillips. Like you said, misdirection, able to get the sticks or move the sticks, I should say, and that's essentially going to put the cherry on top of this Southmoreland victory at this point, if it wasn't there already.
Killing off basically 8 minutes on your final drive of the night. All on the ground besides one pass from Matthews to Keffer. Handoff, Cam Phillips again. This time he's met at the line of scrimmage by the front 4 of the Gladiators.
Number 24, Matthews. Gains 1, down to the 16. 2nd down and 9.
Cam Phillips getting some extra work here, the sophomore tailback. Man in motion, handoff, faked, Matthews keeps, up over the 10, inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line. Southmoreland could take a knee and send this one into the locker room now and send it home with their first conference win and look ahead to Greensburg-Salem next week. That's if they so choose. Game clock at 50, play clock at 20 as they get to the line in a shotgun set. Hand off, Cam Phillips, right side. Phillips going to be stopped right back at the line of scrimmage of the 9-yard line, and Southmoreland most likely looks like they will not run another play, as that will do it here this evening. 36-6 your final, as Southmoreland started early and they kept it alive, often beating the Gladiators here tonight for their first conference win of the season. 36-6 over the Gladiators from South Allegheny. We'll take a break, come back, and send you on your way right here on MVI and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Planet Roof, Pittsburgh's top roofing company, goes above and beyond to give customers the best experience possible. At Planet Roof, we pay close attention to the quality of our work in your home. Our roofers are committed professionals with years of experience who will go above and beyond for all of our clients' needs, because at Planet Roof, we love what we do. For more information, contact us today at 724-243-3297 or visit our website, planetroof.com. Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, a third-generation family-owned and operated business since 1964. Whether you are looking to propose, promise, celebrate, or surprise, Marbills has the expertise, selection, and price to make your shopping experience relaxed and easy. Visit our showroom located at 112 Pricedale Road in Bell Vernon or call us at 724-929-6633. Marble Diamonds and Jewelry, your journey, your jeweler. G-Force Athletic Club free after-school youth boxing program for ages 10 to 18 located at 338 Fallowfield Avenue in Charleroi. G-Force's certified USA boxing coaches provide training in amateur boxing, running, and weight training. G-Force also provide a positive environment and Christian mentoring for our rising generations. For more information, call 202-262-0584. Make Dogs Sports Bar and Grill your place to watch football this season. We have the Mon Valley's best seats in the house. 9 10-foot big screen TVs, wing specials every Sunday noon to 4 p.m., pizza and flatbread specials all day Saturday for college game day, Monday night football burger specials, and you can watch all the Thursday night NFL games here at Dogs in the Walmart Lowe's Plaza in Bell Vernon.
Bring together expert faculty, offer programs in high-demand fields, add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. The right brands, price, and advice since 1946. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress is the Mon Valley's choice for selection, service, and savings for over 75 years. Highway Appliance, Furniture, and Mattress. You're going to like us a lot. We guarantee it. Back here on MVI Live in the Trib Live High School Sports Network, 36-6 your final score. The Scotties beat the Gladiators as Southmoreland on the board early and often. First drive from their own 15 or 35, aided by 15 yards of Gladiator penalties and 49 yards on the ground for Wetzel, led to a 1-yard Caden Kiefer touchdown run, making it 8-0 after the 2-point conversion. South Allegheny, who looked like they were on pace to respond, 43-yard run by DeSean Carter set them up. First and goal, eventually failed on a 4th and goal from the half-yard line, keeping it an 8-0 lead. The Scotties would score once again, this time through the air, 89 yards. Caden Kiefer to tie Keffer, first of 3 scores between these two individuals tonight, and that made it what would be a 16-0 game after the 2-point conversion. And then 24 yards on the next drive on the pitch and catch. Weir to Cameron Epps for the lone SA score of the evening, made it 16-6, but Southmoreland would take it up to 30 before the break. Another touchdown pass for the Scotties, as it was a fade from Kiefer to Keffer, all set up by the Orvitz 34-yard reception. And then after back-to-back punts, Southmoreland would score the final strike of quarter number 3, as they would get the score with a 6-yard 4th and goal touchdown pass, Kiefer to Bateman. That made it 30-6 in favor of the Scotties, as one more score to speak of, 17 yards, Kiefer to Keffer on the screen pass, as that would round out the scoring, and an interception by Caleb Matthews with about 8 minutes left would lead to the final Southmoreland drive, where they would take up the final 8 minutes and 38 seconds and find their way to victory here this evening. They'll be back in action next week when they host Greensburg-Salem. They're now 3-4, 1-1 in section play. South Allegheny back in action next week when they hit the road to Elizabeth Forward, as SA now 0-2 in conference play. Your Highway Appliance Furniture and Mattress Player of the game again goes to our highest or best performing Mon Valley athlete tonight. That was DeSean Carter of the South Allegheny Gladiators here this evening. So he is your Highway Appliance Furniture and Mattress Player of the game for the South Allegheny Gladiators. Keffer and Kiefer were absolutely outstanding for Southmoreland tonight. On behalf of Liam Bell, I'm Alex Lyons saying thanks for tuning in and joining us here this evening from South Allegheny High School. Until next week, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week right here on MVI Live.